So Samsung just launched not one, but two full-sized foldable blowers. The Galaxy Z Fold 8, which sports a new squat wideboy design similar to the original Pixel Fold, along with the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, which sticks with that familiar tall design. Now in their cheapest forms, both of these foldable phones come with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. The Galaxy Z Fold 8 will set you back £1,699, while the Ultra model, well, that'll cost you 1,899 quid. Sorry, gonna have to just pause for a second. I think my testicles just leapt up into my throat. But both of these bendy blowers can also be upgraded to a full-on 1TB beast boasting 16 lovely gigs of RAM, if you've got so much cash stuffed under your mattress that your nose is scraping the ceiling. So what is the difference between these bendy beasts and which one might be best for you? Well, your Uncle Spert's had a proper play with both of the Galaxy Z Fold 8 smartphones, so here's what a semi-soused YouTube tosspot reckons. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now, the main and obvious difference between the Z Fold 8 and the Z Fold 8 Ultra is, of course, the design. This duo is like the cannon and ball of the smartphone world. Now there's a reference that only other middle-aged British gits will get. It's like the Arnie and the Danny DeVito of the smartphone world, there you go. So the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra sports that now familiar Samsung foldable design, basically a slightly refined version of the Z Fold 7. We're talking fairly regular phone dimensions, though as usual that 6.5-inch cover screen is on the narrow side. And this then opens up to reveal an almost completely square 8-inch internal display. And as for the regular Z Fold 8, well, this sports an all-new squat and wide finish, kind of similar to Google's OG Pixel Fold. And this time you got yourself a 5.5-inch cover screen with a 10:16 aspect ratio, and when you yank it open you'll find yourself staring at a 7.6-inch biggin with a 4:3 rectangular aspect ratio. Now that Ultra model is just a wee bit skinnier than its squat sibling. It's a mere 4.1 mils when unfolded, as long as you ignore the camera bit, obviously. But the Galaxy Z Fold 8 isn't much fatter, measuring 4.5 mils when open. Again, just pretend those camera lenses don't exist. On the flip side, the shorter model is actually lighter at just 201 grams, which is almost as light as those dinky flip foldables. But again, just like last year's Fold 7, that Ultra model is far from hefty, certainly for a big old foldable. And both of these Samsung blowers offer a matte glass finish and metal frame in a small selection of colours. So for the Z Fold 8, you've got lavender, cream, black, or a bloody lovely pistachio finish that I'm absolutely gagging for, while the Ultra model comes in violet shadow, cream, black, and green shadow, which again is my favourite of the bunch. And both of them feel slightly easier to open and close than the previous generations, which is likely down to the upgraded hinge mechanism. And Samsung has also stuffed in its fresh new Flex titanium tech, which is housed just underneath that whopping great internal screen, just to boost the durability, add a bit of extra protection. And this consists of a titanium plate and some titanium alloy film, which is apparently approximately a third of the thickness of the average human hair. Don't know why I'm pointing to my head there. I'm pointing to pretty much any other part of my body instead. And yet, compared with regular plastic film, the titanium alloy film is 20 times stiffer. Fnar. And I gotta say, of this pair, it's certainly the more compact, regular Galaxy Z Fold 8 that really sizzles my sausage. That wider cover screen is certainly more comfortable for typing, because compared with the all too narrow display on the Ultra model, that keyboard's definitely got a lot more room to breathe. While it's also great for web browsing and just reading stuff. Although my creaky old peepers do kind of struggle with tinier text on that more compact display, so I'd rather just pull it open and read on that internal screen in portrait mode. And again, this is absolutely perfect for nerdy comic book shenanigans, while if you leave it in landscape mode, it works well enough for multitasking. On the other hand, if you're watching movies on the Samsung Z Fold 8, well, neither of those screens is really ideal. You can expect some pretty thick letterboxing, or if you pinch in to go full screen, some pretty heavy cropping to the left and right of the picture. Although it's not quite so bad for your YouTube and traditional telly shows. If you're a cinephile though, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra will certainly be more of a trouser-rousing option, thanks to that long and thin cover screen, which is the ideal aspect ratio for movies. As for the internal panel, well, that's best suited to running a pair of apps side by side. As for the actual screen tech, well, both the Samsung Z Fold 8 and that Ultra model boast crispy dynamic AMOLED panels inside and out. These are pleasingly poppy, and those internal displays sport what Samsung reckons is an anti-reflective coating, although I've got to say both foldables still seem to suffer under glare, bouncing plenty of light right back at your face. It's great news if you're after a tan top-up, but not quite so good if you're actually trying to see stuff. Thankfully the screens also hit 3000 nits, and you've got Samsung's Vision Booster feature to improve visibility when you are out in the sun. And that central crease is only really obvious when you've got a bit of glare and you tilt the Z Fold 8 or the Z Fold 8 Ultra away from your face. And certainly if you run your finger over that central division, there's barely any bump or ridge, just like with Oppo and Honor's full-sized foldables. Now when it comes to performance, both of these almighty foldables are level pegging, with that Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy stuffed inside. And that's the same brains as Samsung's Galaxy S26 Ultra here in Blighty. And it's one of the most powerful chipsets of 2026, so as long as Samsung's coolant tech is on point, well, you can expect these bendy buggers to be pleasingly responsive, no bother if you're multitasking or whatever. And as for gaming, well, even hefty great sods like Wuthering Waves should play absolutely beautifully, even if you hoy those graphics settings all the way up. But of course I'll be thoroughly testing all of that shenanigans in my in-depth reviews. And it's better news on the battery front as well, because one of the biggest disappointments of the otherwise rather excellent Z Fold 7 was the meagre battery capacity, just 4400 mAh. It's certainly just not good enough for a big old bugger like this. It meant it was nads deep in power saver mode basically every single evening. But the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra will hopefully dodge such sphincter clenching anxiety with its upgraded 5000 mAh battery, while the standard Z Fold 8 is almost as worthy with a 4800 mAh cell. According to the Samsung briefing we attended, actually silicon carbon tech, huzzah! Obviously not quite as capacious as the batteries you'll find stuffed inside of some rivals like the Oppo Find N series, the Honor Magics. But hey, it's a start and hopefully means, as I say, all day battery life from a single charge. But again, stay tuned for my in-depth reviews. I'll be sticking my SIM inside both of these bendy blowers, using them as my full-time phone. And actually, down in the comments below, let me know which one you would rather see first, Z Fold 8 or Z Fold 8 Ultra, and I'll try and prioritize whichever one is the most popular. And for the charging, you've got the kind of quick-ish 45 watt wired charging for both these phones, and also 25 watt wireless charging. Now, no differences for the software on these phones as far as I can see. You've got the latest One UI with all of the usual obligatory AI shenanigans. Yippee, hooray! So good old Now Nudge, for instance, is back in action, first introduced on those S26 phones. You will need to use the Samsung keyboards and various apps for this to work, and I've got to admit, on those S26 blowers it was of extremely limited use in my experience. Frankly, it was about as useful as a condom machine in the Vatican. But apparently on the Z Fold 8 series it's been upgraded, so you'll now get AI nudges in notifications, for instance. And in the good old US, apparently Gemini is more helpful than ever, so it'll be able to book up hotel rooms on your behalf and stuff like that. Further automate your existence, so you've got even more time to drive the 10 feet to your nearest 7-Eleven, grab yourself a sugar-packed cup of piss juice big enough to explode the heart of a fully grown African elephant. Whereas here at Blighty, of course, you just have to keep on doing that bollocks yourself, for now at least. But more excitingly, the Z Fold 8 Duo sport the best new feature that Samsung crammed into the S26 blowers, a tasty bit of call screening, so you can ignore any spammy sods trying to waste your time. However, when it comes to the camera tech, these flexible phones are very different indeed. So while Samsung's stuck with its own 200 megapixel HP2 sensor for the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, and that's the same main sensor that it crammed into last year's Z Fold 7, the regular Z Fold 8 goes for a 50 meg sensor of unknown origin. Both foldables also deliver a 50 meg ultra wide angle shooter, but only the Ultra model boasts a telephoto snapper as well, the usual basic 10 meg effort, sadly. I am rather gutted not to see a telephoto on the regular Z Fold 8, given most other full-sized foldables offer this feature. Or, you know, could have at least got that 200 megapixel main sensor on the regular model, so at least we could shoot an ultra high resolution 200 meg image and then crop in a bit. As for your home movie shenanigans, you can capture up to 8K resolution video or 4K at 60 frames per second with HDR switched on. And that allows you to swap between all of the different lenses. You got the usual Pro Visual Engine image processing smarts on both these phones as well to boost night videography, etc. Bit of that horizontal lock action as well. Basically all of the video features already found stuffed inside of the Galaxy S26 flagships. So certainly the Ultra model should prove perfectly respectable for your everyday photography and a good bit of home movie action when required. We'll have to wait and see on the regular Galaxy Z Fold 8, see how that holds up. But that, in a tasty wee nutshell, my lovelies, is how the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra stack up. And personally, I gotta say I'm particularly moist for that all-new Galaxy Z Fold 8 with its funky compact design. That front screen is pretty comfortable to use one-handed, and this phone's just an ideal way of enjoying a bit of literature on the go, at least I hope it will be. And of course it's great to see finally a battery boost for these buggers too. It's definitely number one on my wish list, and even though the battery isn't quite as big as I say as some rivals, hopefully should be enough to see you through a full day, no worries, which was my main beef with that Z Fold 7. Don't forget, of course, because the Galaxy Z Fold 8 series is now official, the old Z Fold 7s, you might be able to find some good, tasty deals on those if you are still tempted. I did do a long-term re-review of the Z Fold 7 recently, so go check that out. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on the Z Fold 8 down below as well. Which one are you most tempted by, the regular Fold 8 or that super pricey Ultra model? And if it's the Ultra, I hope you've got a few orphans squirreled away in your basement. You might have to sell a few kidneys to afford that bugger. Full reviews coming soon, so please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell, all the usual YouTube bollocks to be the first to see all of that shenanigans. And have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everybody, love you!